taught me the adult chords in it. I got to preface it with a little story, and I'm going to preface the story with what's going to sound like a brag, but when you get to the end of the story, you're going to know it's definitely not a brag. But I am a licensed, registered professional engineer. You know, I took 2 8-hour tests, and I got 3 registered professional licensed guys to sign off on me and all that other stuff, which isn't easy to do in the high-tech world, because nobody bothers to get a license in the high-tech world. So I have got a license. I could sign off on the drawings. I shouldn't. But I could sign off on the drawings if you want to build a bridge or something. No problem. The state will let me. They shouldn't let me, but they will. So anyway, I tell you that because I was in the basement and there was a leak on the floor, and there was cracks in the floor. And I thought, well, darn, water's coming up through these cracks in the floor. John knows how that works. And I said, well, I'm going to call those basement guys that spray epoxy into the cracks and seal it up. So I called this guy in. First off, I have to tell you that my wife looked at the water, and she said, I think it's coming from the furnace. And I says, licensed engineer. This is testosterone. This is man stuff. See the tools? So I called the guy in with the basement thing. And he comes in, he looks at it, he says, oh, you know what I have to do? He said, I have to like chisel a trench from over there to the corner, and from the corner over to there. And then I gotta put a sump pump, then I gotta run a pipe up through that wall into the finished part of your basement, and out the wall to the outside world to dump this water out. And I'll do it for $3,000. I could buy a guitar for $3,000, really nice one. So I said, forget that. I had another guy come in and look at it. He's looking at it. He says, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dig a trench. I'm going to start over there. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to put 2 sump pumps in a battery pack so you get redundancy. I'm going to put a hole in the wall for your finished parts. You're going to have to move some of those guitars. And I'm going to put a pipe out. And I'll do it for $3,500. Which would also buy a nice guitar. So I didn't like either of those solutions. And I'm down there with my wife Janice commiserating. And she's looking at it, she says, I think it's coming from the furnace. I said, all right. We'll take the cover off the furnace. There's a boatload of water down there. And I look, and there's this like little white manifold thing with a hose going in it. And the hose isn't really clamped on, it's just sitting there. And the water's dripping out. I said, oh man, you guys, I'll have to go to the hardware store and get a hose clamp. And she said, you could use that one. And then on the floor over there. So the turkey that did my furnace, maintenance thing didn't put the hose clamp back on there. I've gotten a new furnace since then because the other one was leaking sealed. And I'm told that it's not good to have carbon monoxide in your house. What do you guys think? So I wrote this on my friend Charlie. This is called Love Me Anyway. Times I may be mad, times I may be glad. There are days when I'd be sad to love me anyway. Sometimes we don't agree, I just don't see what you're trying to tell me. To love me anyway. Can't grow flowers without rain. There is sunshine after gray. love me anyway. Can't grow flowers without rain, there's sunshine after gray. No matter how I feel, love me anyway. Can't have left if you don't have right. Can't have day if you don't have night. Sometimes laugh, sometimes cry. To love me anyway. Be there when the sun comes out. Be there without a doubt. That is what it's all about. You love me anyway. Can't grow flowers without rain.